Imagine standing on a continent almost completely covered by ice, no cities, no forests, some of the harshest conditions on Earth. This is Antarctica, but the frozen surface is only part of the story. Beneath kilometers of ice lie mountains, lakes, rivers, canyons, and even living ecosystems. And Antarctica wasn't always frozen. So what happened to this continent? What is hiding underneath the ice? And why are so many countries working so hard to protect it? About 98% of Antarctica is covered by ice. In some places, that ice is several kilometers thick. But underneath it sits an entire landscape. Using radar and satellites, scientists have mapped mountains, valleys, and enormous geological structures buried beneath the surface. One of the most incredible is the Gambutsev Mountains, a range stretching for hundreds of kilometers beneath East Antarctica. Imagine an entire mountain range sitting below you, completely invisible from above. Antarctica wasn't always a frozen wasteland. Millions of years ago, parts of the continent supported forests. The climate was far warmer, and plants and animals lived in environments nothing like today. Antarctica was once part of Gondwana, an ancient supercontinent connected to what is now South America, Africa, and Australia. But as the continents drifted apart, Antarctica moved toward the South Pole. Temperatures fell, ice began to form, and over millions of years, the Antarctica we know took shape. Then came the Ice Age. During the most recent glacial period, enormous ice sheets buried parts of North America and Eurasia. Sea levels dropped because vast amounts of water were locked inside glaciers. Woolly mammoths, woolly rhinoceroses, and giant deer roamed the northern continents. Antarctica was already sealed under a massive ice sheet. Cold, dry, almost impossible for life. But the Ice Age reshaped far more than temperature. It redrew coastlines, oceans, and ecosystems across the entire planet. Today, scientists are working on something that sounds like science fiction: de-extinction. Companies such as Colossal Biosciences are using ancient DNA, genetic engineering, and reproductive technology to recreate animals related to extinct species. The biggest target? The woolly mammoth. The idea isn't to find an old mammoth and revive it. Instead, researchers compare mammoth DNA with its closest living relative, the Asian elephant, hunting for the genetic changes that could create an elephant with mammoth-like traits. No living mammoth has been recreated yet, but the question remains: could animals that vanished thousands of years ago one day walk the Earth again? But Antarctica's ice hides something unexpected: water. Scientists have identified more than 400 subglacial lakes beneath the ice. The most famous is Lake Vostok, buried under roughly 4 kilometers of it. These lakes stay liquid because of heat from inside the Earth and the immense pressure of the ice above. Some have been sealed off from the surface for unimaginable spans of time, and that raises a fascinating question. Could life exist down there? Deep beneath the ice, there is no sunlight, no trees, no grass. Yet microorganisms survive in some Antarctic environments, drawing energy from chemical reactions instead of the sun. And beneath Antarctica's floating ice shelves, scientists have found animals living in complete darkness. Sponges, worms, and sea spiders clinging on in freezing water. Huge areas remain unexplored. There could be species down there we have never documented. Not giant monsters, but creatures perfectly adapted to one of Earth's most extreme places. So who actually controls Antarctica? The answer is complicated. No single country owns it. The Antarctic Treaty System governs how nations operate there, requiring the continent be used for peaceful purposes and supporting scientific research and international cooperation. Research stations are scattered across the ice, studying climate, astronomy, geology, and wildlife. And the rules are strict. The Environmental Protocol designates Antarctica a natural reserve devoted to peace and science, with heavy restrictions on anything that could damage it. There's another fascinating side to protecting Antarctica. Scientists aren't only keeping people out of certain places, they're keeping outside life from getting in. Non-native plants, animals, microorganisms, even a single seed can damage Antarctic ecosystems. That's why visitors face strict rules on cleaning clothing and equipment. In other words, Antarctica has a biological border. The goal is to protect the species already living there from things that don't belong. And because the continent is so isolated, even something microscopic can cause real problems. You might also hear that no planes are allowed to fly over the South Pole. That isn't true. Aircraft do operate near and over the pole for scientific research, transport, and supply missions. But those flights are tightly controlled, difficult, and dangerous. Crews face severe cold, unpredictable weather, almost no infrastructure, and the challenge of flying at high altitude. So the South Pole isn't closed to aircraft. It's simply nothing like ordinary airspace. And this is where the mystery deepens. We have mapped huge areas of Antarctica from above, but mapping ice is not the same as exploring what lies beneath it. There are still hidden lakes, buried mountains, deep valleys, subglacial rivers, ancient rock, ecosystems almost impossible to reach. There is no evidence of dinosaurs, prehistoric monsters, or lost civilizations under the ice. The real mystery is far more interesting. What unknown landscapes and life are still waiting to be found? Antarctica looks empty, white, silent, frozen. But beneath that surface is another world, ancient mountains, hidden lakes, underground water, deep valleys, microbial life, and animals surviving beneath enormous ice shelves. Above it all, a continent protected by an international system built around peace, science, and conservation. And while scientists look to the future, even trying to recreate traits of animals like the woolly mammoth, Antarctica is preserving the past. Its ice holds clues to hundreds of thousands of years of Earth's history. Every expedition reveals something we didn't know was there. The greatest mysteries aren't always on distant planets. Sometimes they're right here on Earth, buried beneath the ice. This is Depths, below and beyond. Explore the unknown. Discover the deep.